Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to be here today. I'm with my brother Charlie. We're here, episode of the running journey today. I just got back from Ironman World. Charlie, good to be here another episode. We interviewed Tyler Maslachuk last week. That was really, really cool. He was Olympian. Check that episode out if you haven't checked it out. Olympian, among the top ranked in his sport at one time. That was really, really cool. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, same. It was nice. Anytime you can talk to an Olympian, that's pretty amazing. So
yeah, well, definitely. He actually texted me. He's like, "How was your Ironman?" Yeah, I shit the bed.
Hey man, but you finished it, and it was a tough course, right? So
yeah,
and not something you've been trained for. I would say there's no mountains here.
There are no mountains here. That is factually correct.
So anyways, it was rough. It was rough or what?
Yeah, it was. I've not been good. I've not been good since Sunday. It's, big picture, I decided I'm quitting the sport. It was torture. It was the worst day of my life, one of the worst days of my life. And I've not really recovered since, emotionally or physically. So yeah, how's that for a start?
Okay. Yeah. So, but just because the hills, right? Though.
Yeah,
how was the swim, first of all?
Okay, yeah. So first off, it was the first time I do any of the races where I don't sleep the night before. I've always been able to sleep. I'm a good sleeper. I've always been able to sleep. I don't know. It's because
the time change probably.
I had one day. Yeah, and this is going to be a whole bunch of excuses before telling me how.
Yeah. So the excuse episode.
Yeah, the excuse episode. 14 hours and 49 minutes I did, which is my worst Ironman time ever. The swim was an hour.
But wait. So there's two things. There's three major things that would make it, to me, very, very much harder for someone like you or me. One is the swim was in the ocean, and I'm guessing it was not wetsuit legal.
No wetsuit.
Not wetsuit. So that's a big change for you, because you've never done one without the wetsuit, a long one like that, anyways. And then up the hill and then down the hill. Like, so you probably not as experienced as. So going down the hill would not have been easy for you. I started watching. I started watching the pro race a little bit, and down there's as much to be gained just by the skill going down. Looks like to me, like based on the pros, like even the pros couldn't handle the down. So I can't imagine an amateur like us being able to handle the downs. But anyways, yeah. So three things that to me are like half hour.
Well, it was 30 degrees with no shade.
And it was hot. Yeah. So that's another hour. So really you exceeded expectations.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So I guess I flew in the Friday. So I was like, I can just get accustomed to the time change real quick. Shouldn't be a big deal. Not a big deal. I've done this before, but I guess maybe that impacted me because the first day I tried to just figure it out, which was I got there Friday and the race was Sunday. So like Friday was, you know how it is. You rush, you go, my bike was in a box, you do all that. And then Friday night, I tried to figure out my sleep. I thought I'd figured it out, but then Saturday night I didn't sleep. I was up at 11:30. And then I was just up. I slept a little bit. Then I was up like for real as of like 1:30 or 2 o'clock. So now I was like, that's okay. So I didn't really sleep. And then you get there and I walked out with my wetsuit. And then because the night before they told us it's going to be wetsuit legal because Ironman does not want a non-wetsuit race. It was 24.0 degrees. So we still had a half degree to work with. And everyone was talking to her like, you're going to wear a wetsuit tomorrow. like I was talking to the Nirvana team and the ops team and everyone I was talking to, they're going to find cold water is what they were telling me. And sure enough, the morning of 24.8
I guess they couldn't find any.
obviously they couldn't find any cold water. So I walked out the morning and I see all these people with no wetsuit, no bags. And I'm like, hey, because we were
so that must have been rattling a little bit.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of it as a possibility. So, and I'm walking, we were right next to the finish line. This was the best condo setup that I've ever had in my race. It was so cool. We were right on the Promenade des Anglais, overlooking the ocean. The bike was passing right in front of us.
So then you had a great swim then, based on that.
I think the swim was good. I mean, I'm not worried.
Well, it was only 5 minutes slower than your wetsuit swim from last time. And
yeah,
how did it feel in the salt it looked on the pro race like it was slightly choppy at the like at the end, like farther out.
It was definitely choppy further out. So first off, it was the most beautiful water I've ever swam in. Like so blue, you could see so far down. It was like they call it la Côte d'Azur, so like the Azure coast. It was so blue and so like spectacular and magnificent. But then like you also see a lot of stuff in the water. Like you see I'd see a jellyfish, or I'd see like a fish, or I'd see some sort of eel or something, and it would just gross me out. It was just like, and I just didn't enjoy it. And then the other thing that sucked. So yes, I think I did well in the swim. I'm relatively pleased with my swim. I pushed hard the whole way, and like I don't really think I left anything out there. And for me, I'm pleased with the swim. I was happy. No concerns. I did have a period where when I would get out to the midway point, so you go there, back, right? So you do about a kilometer there, a kilometer back. It was very wavy, and I would feel like I'd start to get nauseous because you're like,
no, I know that feeling.
So I puked. I puked in the ocean on the second time around.
Ouch.
Yeah,
really. Ugh.
So I was like starting to get dizzy, and then I puked, and then I got hammered on the side. Everyone gets hit in the head. I know it's a thing, but I've had a lot of concussions. And I know that when I get hit on the head, it's not a good, like sometimes I almost black out, and like I almost blacked out in the water. Like you start to see like the black coming in. And I was like, oh boy, if that happens right now, that's not good, right? I die. So I don't know, just panicky and stuff. So I'm pleased with how the swim went. Swim finished. I think I did, what did I do? An hour 19 or something. And I was happy with my swim. I got on the bike and I was like, it's going to be, it's going to be a good day. Let's go do this. And then like that first 3 hours and 40 minutes, that was just, so another excuse. Let's keep the excuses going, the excuse hour. So I got my bike tuned up by the guys at Nirvana. I believe they're very good at it. And I tried it briefly and I think it was working great. And but on the bike, on the climb, I only had 3 gears on my big ring. I only had 2nd, 5th, and 9th.
What do you mean you only had 3 gears?
The other ones would click in and out. They were in between. So click out,
serious?
Click in, click out, click in. So all my gear, my gear, the thing at the end that's lined up for the gears was obviously slightly off. So it would click in, click out. The derailleur. It would click in, click out, click in, click out. So I think it happened on the bike on one of the ascents, like early on in the race. I clipped a guy. He clipped me. I clipped him, whatever, in the back. And I didn't really feel anything, but I was like, I didn't even notice it. Like it kind of, oh shit. Okay. And I just kept going. And all of a sudden I started getting pissed off because my gears weren't working. And it's possible they didn't work from the beginning, but I doubt the Nirvana team would have screwed that up. Like I doubt, or it happened during the race. But anyways, I was like, I got more and more upsetting over time. Like if you're at Birds Hill and a few of your gears don't work, it's not a big deal, right? You just go to the next one, right?
No, you need all your gears.
So I spent 2 hours straight in my lowest gear, 2 hours straight in my lowest gear. And I was doing, I don't know what I was doing, like 6 kilometers an hour or something, maybe 7. I don't even know. It was like, I wasn't moving. And I didn't have my lowest gear. So I was in my 2nd gear and I was just, then you start doing the math, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're like, you're still hoping to have a good day. And you're like, oh, how long is this climb? Like, and now you're like, okay, it's going to take me 3 hours and 30 minutes to do the first third. That means, holy shit, like it's going to take me at least 7.5 hours to do this thing. And then you just start getting negative and on yourself. And so it was just not fun. It never ended. The climb would just not end. It's the longest I've ever spent on a bike in the history of my life. And it was not fun. It was torture because it was just never ending. And you'd see at first I was like, I saw the mountain and I was like, well, there's no way we're climbing that. That doesn't make sense. It's impossible. Like, we're not climbing that. And every time we'd go up and down on the side, I was like, holy shit, they're going to make us climb this thing. They're actually going to make us climb this mountain. And I would just get pissed off. And then you start to question yourself. And then you start to say, so my worst part of all this, Charlie, was whether or not I actually quit. Like, did I actually quit on myself? And like, I've had a hard time dealing with that. Like, whether or not I quit and kind of gave up instead of just pushing through.
You can't always, like, I guess, like, I've done more races than you because I've quit many times in races. It's not like you can't be perfect every time. You can't beat yourself up when you do. Like, you're never going to be at that top. You're never always going to be at that top peak mental, like how you're not always on your top peak physical fitness. You're never at your top mental fitness as well. Like, it's not going to be.
That's
like
a good way to put it.
That's
a really good way.
It's never going to be like perfect smooth every time. I mean, so you mentioned wanting to quit triathlon. Like, after my riding mountain, that's how I felt too. Like, I was like, I can't do this sport. So anyways,
I like how you frame that, because like, clearly I wasn't physically there. Obviously, I know that now. I know that, remember that feeling we had when we were, screaming down the hill in San Bernardino and everything was going perfectly. And like, every time you'd push the pace, I would just be like, holy shit, I can't believe how fast we're going right now. And felt so good. And for me anyways, I don't know about you, but you beat me. So obviously you felt at least as good as I did, if not better. And so I knew that I didn't have that. I knew that physically was not going to be my best day. I knew it pretty early because the legs weren't moving. And like, I know how much, like, I wasn't putting out the power I needed to put out. But then I guess I hadn't thought of, I always thought mentally you were kind of on or off, but I guess it's on a scale as well. How much you want to actually push yourself and how much you can push yourself. That's a good way of putting it. So maybe I was at a 60 that day mentally, and that's what I ended up doing. 9 hours on a 30 physically and on a 60 mentally.
Sorry, I haven't heard the last two. My sound cut off because
that's okay. I'm just talking to myself. I've been talking to myself a lot lately. So I basically said maybe I was at a 60% physical and I was at a 30% mental, right?
Yeah.
On my scale of what I could do that day. I had man, that mental piece is probably more important than the physical piece, because every time I turn a corner and you'd see the climb, you're like, come on, like, this can't be. No, like, this is ridiculous. They can't do this. And then you start getting upset. And
I feel like that's the value sometimes of preparation. Like, so there's no way you could have practiced that course, but had you known, like, let's say you do it again in 2 weeks, or even like give yourself a month to recover. Like, just knowing would probably help you mentally, right?
Yeah, it would. And it's not just that the 3.5. So it took me 3 hours and 40 minutes. So the climb is kind of first 10K or 7K are flat. But I mean, there's so many bikes, and it's kind of hard to get speed because you're in the city. But then after that, you start climbing, and it's like nonstop till kilometer 60. Yeah. So at kilometer 60, you hit they call it Le Col de l'Ancre, I believe, which is the peak of that mountain chain. And it's like, there's a big sign, and it's kind of like, and I was thinking like, all right, okay, I did it. Now it's going to be downhill from here on in, or it's going to be easy. Like I've done the hard work. Took me 3 hours and 40 minutes, but you know what? It's going to take me 2 hours for the next third, and it's going to take me like an hour and a half for the last third, because the next third was flat and then the last third was downhill. So I was like 2 hours, hour and a half. I'm going to do 7 hours, something like that. Well, the next part that was flat wasn't flat. There's nothing flat out there, because you're never in the same gear for more than 4 seconds, because like it's down up. A flat would be like down up, down up, down up, and that's flat, right? Where you're going down a little bit, up a little bit. So it was just, I ended up doing like, I think another, I don't know if it was 2.5 hours for that next third or something. Would that make sense? Yeah, maybe more, maybe 3 hours for the next third. There was still a lot of climbs, and finally I was just like so dejected. I kind of given up on life, and I was like, well, this is going to be the worst time in the history of times. Like this is going to be, so I kind of just quit. I was booting. I was pouting. I was like, I just, and I thought the whole time I thought of quitting, the whole time I just like, well, why am I even doing this? If I'm going to finish in 18 hours, like what's the purpose? What am I gaining? And I just, whatever, just shut up and keep biking and whatever. And then the last third, you're right. I was finally, because at this point I got to the point where I was in such dire straits mentally that I was talking to the people at the aid stations.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, how's your day? Good. It's tough out there. Eh? Yeah. It's tough. And then like, oh, how much climb is left? And I would ask them, oh, okay, there's a town. You got like 5 miles, just to give me an idea.
Wasn't there a climb at like mile 70 or something?
Yeah.
Another big climb.
Yeah. Except I was ready for this one, because I had asked the aid station guys before, and they had told me it's like 9K of climb.
Yeah.
So
but it was steep, right?
It's very steep. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, that probably took me over an hour.
Yeah.
I think probably took me an hour 20, an hour and a half. But I knew that was my last climb. I knew that like after that I was done. And right at the last kilometer, there was an aid station kind of 2 kilometers out from the top of that climb. And I asked the guy, I said, how much is left? And he goes, 2K of climb. Then you're flat for 2K. Then you have,
you're probably not the first guy to ask him.
Yeah. And then he's like, then you have 800 meters. Your last climb of this whole thing is 800 meters straight uphill at the town of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then you're done climbing. It's straight downhill to Nice. So I was like, okay, that last 800 meters like was fun for some reason, because I was pushing. I got to the top of that 800 meters, and then I did not touch my pedals for whatever, hour and a half, I guess, or I don't know how long.
Pedal all the way down?
There were like a few parts where I had it in my top gear.
Weren't there like some flat spots?
There were a few flat spots. I'm exaggerating, but like,
but most of it you weren't, because like the turns are sharp, eh? And like
turns are so sharp. And I was like,
don't have that much experience. Like, so were you you must have been on your handles the whole time? Right?
Oh my God, it was so painful on my hands right here.
Oh, you should have retaped them up.
Yeah, I had no tape on the one.
You took the tape off, right? Because like for Texas, like you're never on them, right? But
because somebody told me to take them off for speed.
I did, but yeah. But this is different. Like, so I was looking, like even the pros were like half the time they were on their handles. Even
I was on my handles, like, I don't know, I want to say all the time, if not most of the time, all the time.
Well, like, because you're either
arrow.
Yeah. You
can't. You can't go an arrow on the way down. Well, I couldn't. I'm not.
Some sections maybe, but like, I mean, if you're experienced, maybe a bit more.
Yeah. But so you'd pick up your speed, and like you see the bottom of the turn, and it's it's a hairpin. So you're like, I'm not risking this. So you start braking. Like you start braking like 500 meters out.
Yeah, because you don't want to hammer the brakes.
No, because if you hammer the brakes, your wheels lift, and then you skid, and then it's cliffs, right? So you just go off the cliff and you die, right?
Yeah.
So I would take the turns wide, and I got better over time at the downhill, and I actually passed people on the downhill.
Oh, really? So you were doing good then?
Well, I don't know if I was doing good. I was with the last 8 people on the course.
Well, yeah, relative to your first half.
Yeah, I got passed by everyone in the first half. Like, it was depressing and demoralizing. I was good, which is why I knew I wasn't doing well, because I was like, everyone's passing me. This is not good. And then
And you're past, like, in Texas. I don't know about Lake Placid, but in Texas, you were pretty much even. Like, you based on your swim, you like, you didn't move up or down on your
I
bike.
think
You
I
gained a
lost a
lot.
few spots on the bike in Lake Placid.
I think you were up pretty much equal from when I had looked at it, but maybe 1 or 2 spots. Anyways, whatever. It wasn't many. And then
Then
you gained them all on the run. But
so I kept thinking like, okay, I'm going straight downhill. I'm going to average like 45 kilometers an hour. So I'm going to
yeah,
do this real quick. But you don't. You end up not averaging. Like my average speed on that downhill was like slower than Houston, which is crazy because you're going
well, it's
downhill.
because of the turns, I guess, eh?
Yeah. So like my last, where are my splits? Like my last, I don't know, 33, 29, 38, 28, 29, 30, 29, 28, 30, 34, 30. So I'm going slightly faster than Houston, or
But you're, I mean, but you're kind of resting for the run then, at least, though.
you're resting. Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you now.
How's that?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So my right foot, like I've never spent that much time in those shoes, and like everything was throbbing, everything was in pain. And so like on the downhill, I had to have like the right foot up because it was so painful on the way down. And I was just,
Oh,
I
I
just
guess because you
wanted,
were hammering so hard up the hill, I guess you were tired. Your feet
I
were
just
tired.
wanted it to end. I just wanted it to
Yeah,
end
yeah.
so bad. I got to the
Yeah,
point where I was just like, can this, like, I was so looking forward to the jog. Like, I was
yeah,
like, this is,
yeah.
I can't wait to go for a jog. Like, I can't wait to go for a jog. I just can't wait to go for a jog. And even the downhill, it wouldn't end because of the turns. And then, like, you're not going that fast. And then the last 10K are in town, or the last
Yeah.
8K.
Makes you realize how chill the Texas one is.
It's,
It's
it's not the
relaxing.
same sport. It's not,
It's
it's like,
relaxing compared.
oh my God. And I remember thinking when we were doing Houston, oh, all these climbs up these overpasses, this is ridiculous. And
Yeah, yeah.
this is so hard. Like how little I knew about real climbing. And I'm sure there's way worse climbing than what I did, but like that was
Yeah,
ridiculously
yeah.
hard for me.
Yeah.
So it finally finishes, finally, finally finishes. And I'm just like, I want to quit, but I'm like, you know what? I like jogging. So let's go see what this looks like. Let's go see what this feels like. So who knows? And like my mom had the GoPro and she was kind of recording me. And I watched that video afterwards. It's yeah, there's some dark place. Yes, because on the bike, I decided I was quitting the sport. I was like, why am I
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this? This makes no
Yeah.
sense. This is torture. And then later on, when I had come back to my senses, when there were like 20K left on the downhill, I said, you know what? Even though I know that's not how I really think, that's like I don't ever want to go there again. I don't want to ever go to the. So it's probably best if I just quit the sport. So I kind of decided, kind of sane, sober, reasonable, that I was quitting the sport. And then I don't need to do this. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at biking. Like, so I'm quitting. And then I got on the jog and I had fun.
That's how I felt like when I was swimming and riding mountain. I'm like, why? I'm terrible at this sport. Why do I still do this? That's how I felt during the swim. Anyways.
The jog was. It's funny because I was like, I want to go for a jog. I just want to go for a jog. And mom asked me the night before, or Claude asked me, what would you do on a day off here in Nice? I said, probably go for a jog on the Mediterranean. I said, okay, well, that's what you're going to get to do tomorrow. So it was like a 4-loop course there and back, right on the ocean. Like it was awesome run course. I got through the first 2 loops pretty easy, and I was pretty sure I was going to do sub 4. Like I was saving in the tank kind of thing. Like I wasn't pushing as hard as I could. And then it started hitting me like mile 12, 13, 14. I was like, I couldn't
What
move my
time?
leg.
What was this in the evening?
Well, it was
Time?
pitch dark by the time I got there.
Oh, okay. So,
No,
but wait,
I
so
started in the sun. I
it was
started in the
still hot
sun.
though.
Yeah,
Well,
it
because
was.
your first half marathon was quick.
Yeah.
And then you slow down a little bit for the second half.
Yeah, like I kind of set the goal of doing sub 4. I was like, hey, just go do a sub 4 and just be happy about your day. And like, you're not going to salvage this day. So just go do a sub 4. So I kind of started no watch, and I was just like, go at the speed you think you can go here. And then I checked after the first loop, first time I had a time. So like 10K in, and I was exactly 1 hour for the first loop. So I was like, okay, I'm on pace for, and I was like, go at a pace that you know you can go for the rest of the day. But you never know how hard your body, like, you never know how hard it's going to be to do the marathon. I don't know about you, but every time I do an Ironman,
Well,
it's
I've
always
only done one Ironman,
okay.
and yeah, I was not expecting it to be that hard.
Yeah. But my last two, I did like a 350 and a 340 something. So I was like, this is going to be flat. It's going to be easy. But it was still like 27, 28 degrees when I started.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
that's kind of like Texas was, though, right?
yeah. Yeah. Except it was later.
Yeah.
So sunset
And
hit.
you hadn't been on the bike for 9 hours, but you were probably more rested, though, from the last 2 or 3 hours on the bike.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
That was my joke.
Mentally drained, though.
Yeah. My joke was, what's the best thing about doing a 9-hour bike in an Ironman?
You're fresh for the run. I don't know.
That and sunset.
Sunset, yeah. Oh, you saw the sunset.
Yeah, I saw the sunset.
Which way do you finish the bike? Which direction are you going when you finish the bike?
You're going south and then east.
Oh, so you're not really. The sunset's behind you a little bit.
Sunset's behind me, behind the mountains. Like sun at your back to finish.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting to the bike and I hear respectable showing in the Ironman, blah blah blah, da, da. And like people are done, and those are respectable showings, and I haven't even started my run yet. It was like, it was embarrassing, right? Because then, but I got a groove there when I started running because I started passing people, right?
Yeah.
So I
would
felt
imagine.
good.
I would imagine you would have been passing people. Yeah.
Felt good, and I was like, "Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's finish this." And forget it. Quit your pouting, and then it started getting hard. It started getting hard on the third loop. My legs didn't want to move, and I don't remember the last time I felt like this, that I couldn't run. It was Des Moines. It was the last time I felt like this. I've never felt like this in a marathon since my first one, like my 458, where like I couldn't get my legs going because my cardio was fine. My heart rate was like 140.
Yeah.
But my legs didn't want to move. So I don't know. I had to walk. I'd go, okay, stoplight, go to the stoplight.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like how I did the Texas.
Yeah. Roughly same time too, right? Probably.
You were a bit faster, but you started a lot faster than me, but it was like that for me. Like heart rate was low, but I couldn't move.
And you're trying to understand why. Like, I'm like, why can't I go right now? This is so ridiculous. Like, and it's not really that the legs are like sore, that they're hurting, right? Would you describe it that way? It's just,
I don't know. It's just an overall pain, and it's just painful. I don't know.
Is it mental, you think?
Yeah, I think it's partially mental.
And is it fair to say?
Well, it also because it was for me, it was my first where I didn't expect it. Maybe just having that the next time, I feel like if I had more of an expectation that feeling was going to come, I think I could power through it a little bit more. So for me, it's a little bit different than you, I think. I think you probably just the long day and the no sleep and all those things combined made you feel a lot more tired. I think just general tiredness probably for you.
Do you think that like the willingness, like, because I feel like I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't actively saying, screw this, mail it in, shut her down. I wasn't saying that. I was like trying to go. I wanted to finish this race to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
It's like I couldn't go. Like I couldn't.
I don't know why. It felt so hard. I don't know why. It just felt so hard to go for me. Anyways, like even though I'm like, I know I should be able to do this, but I couldn't.
And then you're thinking like, is there something in the back of my head that's telling me like, am I a quitter? Like, what's preventing me from, anyways. So you deal with that. And then once I started doing the walk run, it kind of became a game, right?
Same.
And like, okay,
For me
I'm
too,
going to do 400 meters, and I'm going to walk 20 seconds. I'm going to go, and that kilometer by kilometer. It's been a while since I've run like that. And it's like,
but it's crazy that you can actually pass people doing that. Like, for me, I was passing people, even though I was like walking so much.
And then towards the end, you stretch it. I'm like, okay, I got 3K left. I'm going to do 1K a minute.
Yeah. You get a bit pumped. You're like, okay, let's do a longer one here.
And there was a lot of people on the course. Like, it was, and I had my Canadian shirt, and people were cheering. There was a lot of Canadians there, and it was pretty cool to have, like, honestly, it's a great venue. It's a great course. Like, I wish I could have enjoyed it more. I wish I didn't want to kill myself like the whole day. Actually, I didn't. I want to say I enjoyed the first 2 hours of the run. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then the last two were a bit of a battle. I didn't like hate it, but like I had, it was less fun, but I knew I was going to finish, and I knew I was going to just power through whatever it took, and the walking, and like the old school one hydro pole. And that's what I did. And whatever I was so miserable after. No photos, no video, just the guy called me for my bike, and I was like, just keep it. Just leave it there. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't need it. I don't need my bike. And my dad's like, no. We're going to go get your bike. No, that's ridiculous. We're going to go get your bike. And I was like, I don't give a shit. And like, just like to think of how low I was right there.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling a little bit better. I slept. I've been sleeping kind of nonstop since then.
Yeah, I mean, it's no joke going over a mountain.
Yeah, I have so much respect. Like the guy who wanted a 430 bike, 430.
Yeah. So I haven't seen. So okay, don't spoil it for me, because I'm watching it right now. I'm like at hour 5. I'm guessing the guy that's just dominating the downhill is gonna get the fastest bike time. So he's right now he's in 5th place, but like I'm at the point where they just started going downhill, and he's just dominating, just passing everyone on the downhill. So
who's the guy?
Cameron Worth. I'm guessing that's the guy that's gonna have the best bike time overall.
But even like the slow pros in 445.
But he lost 5 minutes. He lost 5 minutes on the uphill. But I'm guessing he's gaining it all back on the downhill.
I'm blown away. They're going twice my speed the whole way through.
Yeah, those guys are good. Yeah. I mean, I think it's about getting that comfort zone on the downhill is a big thing, and their power going uphill, like, and there's light, right? They're pushing.
Yeah.
They're pushing.
I talked to a guy who was telling me, like, this is not your course. This is not your course. You're a big guy.
Yeah. So yeah, the more hills, the better it is for someone that's smaller.
Yeah, you need a flat course. He said, "You go crush." He said, "Go crush Houston."
Yeah, exactly. I was
like, I've done that one.
Okay, so we're doing Arizona next time, by the way,
or Florida.
Maybe
Florida apparently is the flattest.
Well, I want something late in the year of 2024.
Okay, I don't know if I'll be willing to do them by then, but
yeah,
late in the year 2024. Well, do you have any other?
My 2 candidates right now are California and Arizona. I don't know when Florida is, but it would be just because then I could actually get some good training in the summer, as opposed to in doing it in April. Like, I feel like you don't get training.
Yeah, I don't know.
Plus, like, we got Boston, right? So we got New York, then Boston. So then that gives me the whole summer to specifically train for Ironman swimming. Maybe do a month focus on swimming, and then
you're going to be in the 45 to 50, right?
Yep.
So you have a shot of like actually qualifying for Kona, not with the roll down, like with the actual time, if you care.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to go to Kona to swim. Swim doesn't.
Honestly, maybe I'll change my mind, but there's no effing way I'm ever doing that again. Like,
Yeah, but a
I know,
flat course and an easy swim is okay though, right? Like,
yeah, I had fun doing Houston. I enjoyed Lake Placid. Like,
yeah,
it was hard. I don't remember what I said on here, but like
yeah,
relative to what I did, like
yeah,
I enjoyed the run for sure
yeah,
at a minimum.
yeah.
And I loved like afterwards the feeling, now I'm just like miserable about the whole thing. Like I'm just a miserable human being right now. And I don't like that. I'm sure
Yeah,
it'll get better.
but okay, so are we looking forward to New York now then, or what?
I had actually decided I was done with everything, but I mean, I know I like jogging. So I like, I want, yeah, I'm looking forward to New York, 100 million%.
Okay, good.
Honestly, I want Patrick to like kill me with my training.
Yeah, I always want him to give me more volume. Every
Like
once in a while. Every
I
once
want to
in
do,
a while, like, hey Patrick, I think I can handle more volume. Can you?
I want him to,
But he's like, okay, we'll wait 2 weeks. He'll feel, and
yeah, like I
but
told
I've been
myself,
injured. I've been injured, so like he's probably right.
yeah, I kind of told myself I would just, go for your next jog when you want to go for your next jog. Is that what you do normally after like a big, like after your last Ironman or whatever, or after like your downhill marathon?
Well, last time so I've tried a bunch of things. So I read 2 weeks is a good time to take off after a marathon. After triathlons, I feel like you don't need as much time. So the last time, like Patrick just gave me workouts for the week after, which was good because I just followed them. A bunch of easy workouts for the week after. He knows I'm not going to take days off, so he just gave me because after the half Ironman in Hecla, like I ran like 8 miles the next day and 8 miles a day after. He's like, "Oh, I guess you didn't race hard enough." Um,
Chirping you.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. It depends. I think easy jogs or can't hurt.
Yeah.
After an Ironman, I think that's fine.
I
Didn't
feel actually good, and I'm embarrassed how good I feel because
yeah,
that means obviously I didn't go hard enough.
yeah,
But I just, like, my bike is in the garage and it's not getting touched for a while. Like I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like, but yeah, I had actually kind of decided I wasn't going to ever run or bike again or anything again. But now I'm like, I'm really excited about New York. Got the emails about the registration and all that. I'm like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
this is
So
gonna.
here's another thing Boston Marathon registration
Oh yeah,
and
when is that?
ends tomorrow.
Okay, you
So
wouldn't have let me. Forgot.
no, I knew we were talking today. So yeah, you need to do it today. I would do it today.
I'll do it now.
Yeah. Anyway,
Imagine, imagine forgetting to register for the Boston Marathon.
yeah, that would suck. So yeah. So anyways, big 5K coming up.
Kleefeld.
Yeah. Are you
When
coming
is
or
that
what?
again?
Saturday, 2 days from now,
What time is it at?
10 a.m.
Shit, I can't be there. I signed up for it, but I can't be there.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll do
You'll win without me. Well, I have a golf tournament in
it.
LeBrook Creek shotgun start at 10. Why don't I? You know what? I will go and I'll just join the guys on the second hole or whatever. How long is it going to? Well, I
It's
mean,
okay. So I was wondering about pacing. I thought in my head, like if I could break 20, I'd be super happy. And then I asked Patrick, like, what should I pace for this? And he says, oh, 345 to 350 per kilometer. I'm like, are you serious? Like that
which is
sounds
like
insane. It's like
18,
19
50.
minutes. It's like 19 minutes. I was like, that sounds insane. But if he thinks I can do it, I'll try it. We'll see what happens. I think I might blow up though. So yeah, 19 minutes. 19 to
I,
probably 19 for you.
I think you could do it. I mean, you're fit. Yeah. Anyways, so what is the winning time of that thing usually?
Oh, it depends who shows up. There's some guys in Manitoba that can do, like, if Tyler would show up, it would be 13, but
Right.
16. Some guys do 16, 15 and a half. Some, like, I mean, depending on who shows up, right? Like, there's only a few guys that can do that in the whole province,
Yeah.
right? Under 16, but
yeah. Yeah, I think it's like I've always wanted, but I like my hips are still like, I don't know if I could do whatever. I might go and just be late to my golf tournament, but details, I guess. What do you have after that?
then I got a 10K next week. I really like my building up before a marathon to have like a 5K, a 10K, and then a half marathon, because
When are
it
you
can
doing the
give
half?
you, huh? Well, the Winnipeg Fire WFPS October 16th.
Okay, yeah. I
Do
registered
it
for
every
that.
year. Yeah, just because I don't know, I like the 5K, 5K gets you some speed, 10K you get a bit more endurance. Then you do the half marathon, you get your speed and your endurance, and then you're kind of, you know what pace it can help you. Like, you do that a month before, you know your pace, what your pace should be for the marathon. So
Where the 10K is where next week?
just in Winnipeg.
Okay, what's it called?
Ted's Run for Literacy.
Nice.
It's
Are you
like,
doing
it's like just on just like in East Kildonan. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to do that 50 miler that I was supposed to do in Salt Lake City. It's probably out now because it's going
When
to be
is it?
similar. It's in October. Do you think?
In October? Yeah, it's not going to help you for your marathon.
Okay.
That would definitely hurt you, I would think, because like you're going to have to do tons and tons of volume, and then you're going to be, I mean, you don't have to do volume, but that basically is going to take like your 3 prime training weeks out.
Right.
Right? Like your prime training weeks are like first week of October, second week of October, third week of October. And then, so basically, so when is it? If it's in October sometime, you're basically taking
I think
it.
it's the 7th or 8th of October.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to lose that. I mean, the race itself will be good training, I guess.
I was thinking, do you think it's possible to just do my New York training and then just do a slow pace, like walk a ton, like just kind of a training, kind of fun trail run, that 50 miler?
Yeah. You could, if you don't care about the results, then yeah, you could do that. Just finish it, and then that'd be your volume for that week. And then, but it might be hard to like the next week. I think you take another easy week, but you do a long run a week after, and then you do a bit more training the week after that. I mean, Patrick would figure it out. But
He's probably going to tell me not to do it, I imagine.
yeah, I would say that it's not going to help you.
Okay. How are you feeling about your body and everything?
To me, like, I'm realizing that the only thing that matters is nutrition and sleep, because the workouts are easy. So I've been doing good on nutrition for about 2 weeks now, and sleep, and I feel amazing. Like, I feel fast. I feel no injuries. So we'll see how this 5K will tell me. I've got a slight light cold, but I don't think it'll affect me. So we'll see how this 5K goes. If I do under 20, I'll be happy.
Nice. Okay. Well, it's good. It's good to chat. It's good to connect. There was this guy. Anyways, I enjoyed interviewing Tyler, so I've reached out to a few other guys I think would be good to interview on the podcast. We'll see what they say, but hopefully we get some of those on in the future. But Yeah, it's shitty being terrible, that terrible at a sport. And it's funny because before the event, I rewatched the videos, and right before the race, my mom's interviewing me. It's like 7 o'clock. So my start was, by the way, they do this. Did you see how they do the starts? So it's age
Wave.
group start.
Okay.
So I had 350 people at the same time on a gun start.
Oh God.
So like you're
So
getting hit.
that's a lot of traffic
It's a lot of traffic.
to
Anyways,
deal with in the swim. God, I
yeah,
hate
and
that.
they don't. So like 7 minutes after the 45 to 50 went, and they had
That's kind of
300
dumb
people.
because the top 45 50s are gonna like swim over all the 40s.
They had such a hard time, right? So I was getting passed, and those guys, the
Yeah,
best,
they should just do it by time. Like I know it's
but
the
they wanted to be a race, right? So with
yeah, I
a finish
know,
line.
but yeah, I guess yeah. But they're gonna have
Anyways,
to they're gonna have to swim over the slow 40-year-olds. Like
yeah, and it's not just that. So they didn't just say 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. They like switched them up, and I'm sure they have some sort of algorithm where it's like they tried to space it so they had like 60s, and then but like the last
well, they
group
should
was
put the younger ones first, and then
25 to 30.
well, they're gonna swim over everyone.
We were third last. So
Okay.
or fourth last. So anyways, they spread them out, but what I'm saying is I was a late start. I started at 7:20, and I'm kind of just hanging out because there wasn't enough space. Like there was a lot of people and it was very busy and it was very cramped. So I was just kind of hanging out by the transition, and mom was on the other side of the fence, and dad, and they had like the GoPro, and she's asking me about my goals. Like, what are your goals today? And it's funny that I rewatched that video, and in my head, I thought I had said, I want to do, an hour 20 swim. I want to do, 6:45 bike. I want to do, but I didn't say that. I actually said, well, it's going to be tough. Really, all I want to do is have a good day, enjoy it. This is my reward for training so hard. I'm just going to enjoy the day. Who cares what my time is? That's what I said. I actually said that.
Yeah.
And, I have one goal, which is, if I'm feeling really good in the run, maybe I could do a sub 4, but regardless, if it doesn't happen, just enjoy the day, smile, and go for a jog and go for a bike ride. And then I'm like, as soon as the race started, turn all that off and get super hyper competitive. But, yeah, it's just weird to see what your mind does on these days. Anyways, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from trying a triathlon, an Ironman, because I just think this race, you have to prepare yourself. And like, I guess I took it too easy, and I was like, no big deal. I'm just going to show up and I'm just going to do it. I probably didn't train enough. I was off my bike when I was on my family trip for 2 weeks. I don't know. I didn't take it as seriously as I should. So I paid the price.
Well, I mean, you didn't have much time to prepare.
I had 6 weeks, and in those 6 weeks, I had 2 weeks it was the middle of summer. So every weekend I was gone somewhere, and it's tough to excuses, but I'm telling viewers now that I did not take it seriously enough. If you're going to do this, take it seriously. If you're going to go to Nice or Kona, take it seriously.
Yeah, but if you just do Texas or Arizona, you don't have to take
No
it
big
seriously.
deal. No, that's ridiculous.
No, any Ironman, you got to take it seriously. But start off with the easier ones, I guess, eh?
Yeah. Okay, anything else you want to add, Charlie?
No, let's, New York, let's, after this call, we should discuss what we're going to do.
Okay. I'll stay on. We'll stop recording and we'll stay on.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me vent and pout and bud. And I'm sure that in a couple of weeks, I'll be proud of what I did. But for now, that was an embarrassment. Thanks, Charlie, for the pep talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.